Yeah, that's right. We are back in the back garden shed. Oh my gosh, a few little technical difficulties to start us off. It is the 50-year storm down here in Cornwall, and the back garden shed is being buffeted somewhat. So hopefully we'll get a fairly clean audio. Many thanks to everybody for your continued support. The channel's now had 1 million views, and we're knocking on the door of 10,000 subscribers. I never thought it'd get so out of hand. So I have a celebratory skate party knees up. I've got my cup of tea here. Hopefully you're settled in with your beverage of choice. If you're new to the live format, basically it's me waffling about skate related topics, hopefully steered and guided by yourselves commenting in. Hi Zach, be great to get a few people just saying that I'm coming across loud and clear and that I'm in frame. I've got the comments coming up on my laptop here. I've got a little holder for my drink, so hopefully it should all be good. I'm perched on a seat because I sort of injured my leg again yesterday. Not the same hamstring. This is something different. I didn't realise that I'd injured it during a session, and then last night it was most uncomfortable, and I was racking my brains as to what I could have done, because I carried on skating to the end and I did take a few tumbles, as is par for the course, but I was racking my brains as to when I did it, and it's a little bit weird. It's like a right leg hip lock up. Oh my goodness. So I've had the massaging thing out. I've got like a new massage gun, which is like an electric drill, and it pulsates an end, and I've been working around with that and doing a bit of yoga and trying to get that leg working. I was miffed because I couldn't go skating today. Greg West, hi Greg. Hi John, good waves down there, thanks to the wind. Congrats on the milestone. Thanks dude. Hemi, sounding perfect, wicked. I'm pleased I'm coming through. Mark Durham, oi John, oi! Nice one, Mark. Anders, hey mate, I love your videos. Keep it up. What's up with that deck at the back? It's got the front truck backwards. Oh my gosh, yes, this bad boy here. Let's crack straight into some setup chat. So yeah, this is a set of Surfskate trucks, and these are the Carver, I think, as I remember, I think they're called C7 Surfskate trucks. So the idea is it simulates the feel of a surfboard, because this front truck turns in an ultra fast fashion compared to the back truck, so you can get that sort of cut back feel. And I did a video on this one if you want to check it out, and it's reviewing these trucks. They're not as radical as normal Surfskate trucks. I think it's fair to say there is a sliding scale of Surfskate trucks, and you've got Surfskate trucks that really do simulate surf turns, almost like a surf trainer that you would use at a surf school, and they are can only be described as twitchy. And then you've got right down to this sort of thing, which is really a set of loose indies, but just with a different turning radius and everything in between. My Surfskate that I really like skating has somewhere in between crazy loose front truck and sort of this sort of more modern skateboard feel, and I really like that one because I can still go backwards a little bit. I think it's fair to say you'd be hard pushed to go backwards on some of the surf trainer style trucks. Wicked, push by push, congratulations. Whoa, and thank you very much to Panctic Plays. That's really kind. Got a from Push by Push, you are the man. That's amazing. Oh yes, lovely job. Congrats on 1 million views. Yeah, wicked. So started the channel 2 years ago, and I'm now 3 years into learning to skateboard. And the idea of the channel was to motivate me to learn new tricks, because I was finding a year in, I was already just stuck in a rut. I was quite happy to be carving and pumping around a bowl and getting some exercise and getting the fear factor of just going on a skateboard in a straight line. But I really wanted to get up on that coping, and every time I went with the best of intentions, I would just make my excuses and leave with my head bowed. So I found that if I videoed the progress and talked about the struggle, it really helped me to motivate myself to at least make one of that trick and get a feel of how that. And those early videos, yeah, they are pretty pretty ropey in the skateboarding department, it's fair to say, and also in the production department. It's sort of all the areas I've been working on all at the same time. So let's have a look. Radness Unlimited, oh brilliant. Congrats on 1 million views. Have you ever tried skating an 8-wheeler? Oh, great question, because yeah, I have seen an 8-wheel skateboard. Those for the uninitiated, if you can imagine it, a skateboard nearly double the size of that in terms of a deck, and then literally 4 trucks. So a set of trucks here with 2 wheels, and then a set of trucks here with 2 wheels, and exactly the same on the back. So 8 wheels, 4 trucks. It looks mental. My friend Sam had to go on one, and it's fair to say they don't turn the best, but I think you need to rework your style, and the guys I've seen ride them, it's very impressive for the 8-wheeler. Oh my gosh, you can do sort of carve grinds right out of the coping with nothing grinding, because it's like just the wheels go over the coping there. Alex, hey, how you doing, Alex Morano? And Bagel Days, what trick do you want to learn the most? Oh, I think could be blunt fakie, and also the backside air over the coping on the massive vert ramp. Those are my 2 big focuses at the moment. I also want to learn the pivot fakie on the way to doing the blunt fakie. I'm making a bit of a meal of all of these tricks. I'm sure that other people don't find them quite as hard, but I was knocking on the door and then I did my hamstring, and regular viewers will know the story. I keep waffling on about it. But I think when I'm starting to get into these more high tariff tricks, at least for me, the battle is to try and learn them and then remain uninjured in the meantime, because yeah, if I can get a good run of not being injured, it gives me a better chance of being able to get them. But I'm finding that I'm getting into some tricks now that are longer projects than one video. In the early days, I could get the trick within the 1 video time span, be it an hour and a half or 2 hours, and that's pretty exciting to go from that 0 to hero. But I'm finding with these other tricks, there are ones that are going to take, you know, weeks and months, and that's quite a new feeling. And it's also quite difficult to document in my format of video, which is turn up with a camera, leave it switched on, to a load of attempts, hopefully make one, talk about the process, and then just edit out all of the bits where I'm not riding a skateboard, and hey presto, a video of the event emerges with all the real-time mistakes and everything all thrown in. I had an amazing comment the other day, and the guy was like, oh, well done on, you know, bailing all those tricks to make the video look a bit better. And I'm like, oh man, I wish I was good enough so I had to force the bail. On every single of those attempts, I was really trying my hardest to make it every time. Oh dear, wicked. And yeah, I've started making decks. Oh, and you've got a few prototypes of 8-wheelers, and I think got decently turny one. Going to cut out 4 more in the next couple of months. Oh, good man, that sounds pretty exciting. Blunt fake is so sick. I've been struggling to learn blunt rock. Yeah, but I've been skirting round all of the blunt combos. So I've had a little go at the blunt rock fakie, the blunt rock and roll. I also did a video recently on the blunt to axle stall, which is actually a really nice one. It's quite committed landing back on the coping, but once you get it, it's like, oh, this is pretty exciting. But yeah, anything but. I did a feeble fakie video recently as well, and I reckon if I can get the pivot fakie, that's knocking right on the door of the blunt fakie. That's just 1 wheel away, and I've just got to be in the right mood, because I know I'm going to get absolutely worked. And it's just, I have to be in the right frame of mind. If I'm feeling a little bit like, do you know what, I don't fancy falling backwards to the flat 10 times today, then unfortunately the pivot fakie attempts are not going to be in the diary, so to speak. Joe Bennett, whoa, hey dude, congrats on the milestone, great job, greetings from Greece. That's my good friend Joe Bennett in Greece. He has got a fabulous YouTube channel that was the inspiration for this YouTube channel. So if you watch Joe's YouTube channel, which is called Joyrider TV, it's based all around high performance sailing and mountain biking, and you'll have a great time there because the videos are really beautifully produced and the banter is, well, Joe's my best mate, so the banter is can only be described as similar, I'd imagine. But yeah, check out Joyrider TV. I'm going to leave a link in the description below. And Joe was a bit ahead of the curve on the YouTube stuff, so I'd phone him up and ask him advice. What does this mean? How many views have you got now? Joe, I think Joe got 1 million views a long time ago. Jimmy Spratt, did you ever get your frontside slash grind on the vert? Oh, I'll tell you what, Jimmy, I was trying it the other day and I got the truck on and I went absolutely flying. And I was whinging about having an injured leg. That's why I'm sat on this chair. And it's just come to me that I think it was when I fell off of those that I probably did my hip in. It's all just come flashing back. But yeah, that I was trying those. But no, I haven't got them. On the 13.5 foot vert ramp, I haven't. The weird thing is with the slash, I'm a bit rubbish at getting on the back two wheels, basically manualing the board. So for a carving grind, for a 2 truck grind, I'm okay with those. I can do those on a bowl and I've practiced those and I feel that I'm quite, you know, that feels like a surf turn to me. And there's something about a bowl as well. I've done frontside grinds on a fairly big vert bowl, a sort of 10-foot touch concrete wave sort of size, and pools and things, because it bends around and it gathers you up as you turn around the corner. The wall is constantly coming at you. But I find on a vert ramp, it's a flat wall. So as you go up, it's not that the wall is going away from you, but it sort of is if you're doing that sort of carving motion. So I find it very different. And the front side kick turn is something I've never practiced because I've always done the front side 2 truck carve or 2 truck grind or the carving turn in bowls. So I just haven't done an awful lot of the standing on your back manual. So it's a real, I've been practicing it a lot because it's a real weakness of mine. But in answer to your question, that is a long way in saying no. I haven't done it on the big one. I've done lots of slash grind, front grinds on mini ramps and stuff like that. But no, it's a whole different kettle of fish. Hey dude, can't wait for the backside air. Keep up the vids. Yeah, it's coming. I had a little breakthrough with it. I had a session with my good friend Adam, the backside air king. Anybody who's seen that video will have seen Adam's vert ramp skating, which can only be described as off the scale. And Adam was getting me to tap, you know, pop my tail. And I was getting a little pop, like a little ollie tap on the vert of the boop, and it was coming up into my hand and I was getting extremely excited because I was sailing out, and I could definitely see the deck. So I think my arse was definitely over the coping. So if I'd kept the board on my feet, I would have been in that position. But oh my gosh, it's a different world. The one I'm doing at the moment, the little sort of early grab pull round, is pretty exciting, but I've sort of resigned myself to the fact that I don't think I'll ever get over the coping with that technique. So I've had to go back and do it properly and just like take it on the chin and go, no, come on, do it properly and start again afresh. So I've been going straight up the ramp as fast as I can and then popping the tail and grabbing after I go over the coping. But I'm not going to lie to you, I'm skeptical as to whether I'm going to ever have the balls to then turn and look back down the ramp. Probably my head's probably going to be 15 foot to the flat bottom at that point, I should have thought. And then you've got to just keep the board on your feet and ride away. I'm not so sure. I'm determined to get it. I'm determined to get it. My goldfish drown 1 milli mil. Yeah. Hi from Spain, Jose. Nice one, dude. Skating Michael, starting my own YouTube channel was inspired by you. It's very hard work to gather footage. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I was going to make a video on how I make the videos, but there's a good friend of mine, Warren Leeds, actually has just checked in. Hi, Warren. Congratulations on the 1 million views and your YouTube channel. Unfortunately, I can't hang around the party. I'm off to work this morning. Have a great day. Warren and I have had some great chat across the internet, and it's just as well because Warren lives in Australia, and if anybody wants to check out a cracking YouTube channel, check out Waz's channel, Warren Leeds, on the YouTube. and we've been comparing notes on how we make our videos and how we do all the technical side of things, which quite excites me, but it's not really one for the viewer, so to speak. And Warren makes his videos very similar to me, just has an iPhone and a tripod and just sets it down, leaves it running, records a load of tricks, a load of attempts, sorry. So you end up with like a 45-minute video, and then you can just bomb that into iMovie. I do it on the phone as well, just so everything's in the camera. And then you just cut out all of the bits where you're walking back and forth from your attempts, and you end up with everything in order. And that's probably the easiest way I've found to do it. I found that when I start getting a GoPro involved, it's just like, then you've got exactly what you're talking about, a bit of data management and trying to, and videos tend to be quite large, especially if you're shooting in 4K. So it just takes a long time to bounce everything around and get it all in one place. So yeah, I feel your pain, but yeah, probably a good way to do it is just to, yeah, streamline it as much as you can. But sure, yeah, greetings from Hong Kong. Congratulations on the 1 million views. Oh, nice one, dude. Thank you. Yeah, obviously 1 million views is very humble in terms of YouTube sort of stuff, but to me it blows my mind, because when I set sail on this adventure, I didn't really have any ambitions or any expectations. It really was a very selfish ploy to fool myself into learning some skateboard tricks, which I felt that I probably wouldn't be able to do without some sort of exterior motivational force. And making and completing the video was a good wholesome, a whole thing, because without the make at the end, there was no video. And if you go back to some of the early videos, you'll be treated to some pretty rubbish YouTube, but also you will notice that there is only one make, because that is the only one that I did, and that was just enough to facilitate the making of the video. I learned pretty well, not pretty soon on, I learned about 3 months into the process that was actually quite a bad idea, because just making one trick didn't mean that I'd learnt the trick at all. It mean I'd sort of, got lucky once, and I learned that it was better to try and make, as soon as I made one, try and make loads more in that session, and then come back and do the same again and keep on doing the same again. Otherwise, I'd come back and it would be like starting from afresh. And because I was trying to do a trick a week in the early days, there wasn't enough time to revisit what I'd just recorded. So I ended up with a bag of nothing. I didn't, everything requires upkeep. And I found that through my recent injury. I've been getting really stoked, and I think people might be confused on my Instagram, because I've been, excited about posting up a video of doing a feeble stall on the mini ramp, which I haven't done for like 3 months because my hamstring's been playing up. And it was like, see if I can get that back, and a bit of a wrestle and a tussle. And you put it up, and then it's like, it's a fairly basic trick. But I've really enjoyed it, and I was pretty excited. So yeah, I think coming back from and reclaiming the tricks has been pretty exciting. And as I've been doing that, I've been trying to tart them up a bit and do them a bit proper. Because another thing I've been finding with the skateboard tricks is that you can do them in a variety of in a tier of weight, like the bottom being, it is sort of the trick, but it's all done a bit rubbish. And then as you go up, eventually there's a top way to do the trick, which is the most dangerous, most stylish way that you can possibly do that trick, with all of the little nuances and features put in, and it's almost like a completely different trick. And also the type of ramp that I try to do it on seems to make a lot of difference. I've got like a sliding tier scale of ramps, and the first one I try it on is my little mini ramp that's very similar to the one I had in the back garden, and I try to get it on there because it's like, it's the sort of nicest of all things. It's got like a skate-like surface, so if I do go a cropper on it, I don't I sort of slide across the flat bottom. I don't seem to hurt myself too much. And also it's not very tall, so again, if I fall from the cope into the flat, it's not an awfully long way to go. And also that transition on that ramp is fairly mellow, so again, it's not too intimidating to try bits on. The next step up from that would be the mini ramp at Mount Hawk, which also features in the video. It has 5 foot, but that one's a lot steeper. But I just love that ramp. I love everything. It's just a brilliantly made ramp. It's got great coping set, and and all that sort of thing. And then the next one up from that would be the pool coping, concrete waves pool. And I find that trying to get the trick on pool coping is another different thing, the concrete coping. And I think once I've got that, get it on a 7-foot section, and I feel that I've actually got the trick, and then start skating the vert ramp and realise there's another whole different world to do that trick again. Here we go. Bagel Days, have you seen JD Sanchez? Another big skating inspiration. Yeah, absolutely incredible. JD Sanchez, if anybody follows the Braille skateboarding channel, I do have a sweet spot for the Braille skateboarding, and JD Sanchez is a young ripper, snapper. I don't know, it must be 11 or 12, very a young lad, but oh my goodness me. Congrats on the milestone, John. Love your channel. This is Tyrone. Keep them coming. What deck do you plan on skating next? Another reissue. It's a great question, Tyrone. I've just been skating the Kendall Snake lately. Oh, that's all I've been skating. I've been loving it. And I got the Kendall Atomic Man, which I did a review on recently, and I've been skating that one because it's got more nose. But I don't quite like, for some reason, I don't like the feel as much. There's something, it's a different concave and a slightly different outline and plan shape. And I just don't enjoy it as much as the Snake. So I've been skating the Snake and getting on reasonably well. And I've got the Andy Anderson deck, which I use for my vert ramp setup. And most of my skate, it's been the 50-year storm for about 3 months down here in Cornwall. So I've had a splattering of outdoor sessions. If I go to the little mini ramp, which I like to do, I try to learn something new. And I've got a little mini ramp set up with 55mm wheels and an Anderson deck for that ramp. And then if I go to the indoor skate park at Mount Ork, I'll take my Snake to try the mini ramp stuff. And then I'll take my vert ramp board, which has to be fairly specific because that ramp is fast. You know, it's 13.5 foot of woo-hoo-hoo. So you have to have the tight trucks and the business. And yeah, I've got bored pretty quick of continually tightening my trucks and loosening my trucks on one board. So I take two into the skate park. Yeah, so I do that. That doesn't answer your question. So yeah, I think I'm going to keep going on the Snake. I'm going to keep going on the Andy Anderson from a vert ramp, and I think that'll probably be it, dude. So no brand new deck ideas, I don't think. Hey Ramon, hey, it was nice to see you battle the rain. Same here in Holland. Glad to see you got some sessions in. Yeah, just about, Ramon. Yeah, I won't take no for an answer, but I'd have to say it's pretty challenging. There is absolutely no hope of it happening this week. I don't think it really is raining sideways. Also, as a learning aid, those early videos helped me tremendously. It was great seeing little errors in the movement, placement, technique, etc. It helped me learn what to do and what not to do. Oh, thanks, dude. Yeah, it just felt like I had to leave those bits in because I'm just getting a bit more tea. Just topping up my tea. There we go, a bit more tea. Yeah, it felt like I had to leave those bits in because it was just, I wasn't going to be fooling anybody. I certainly wasn't going to be fooling myself. So yeah, leaving everything in seemed like the most honest policy, and I think it's more interesting and more realistic. And I was influenced to do that by a guy called Lance on the Braille skateboarding channel, and they had sessions where Lance was learning tricks, and it was just a straight video from start to end, no edits. And you got to see all of his mistakes, and he sort of talked through how he was feeling about the mistakes he was making. And I found that massively helpful compared to the more entertaining pro skater trick video, which is a couple of minutes long and just features footage of, you know, the guy doing the trick incredibly well, which is, you know, brilliant and inspirational, and also it gives you an idea of how the trick could look with 10 years practice. But for me as a beginner, I really needed that nitty gritty of what could go wrong, and all of the little ins and outs. I've got that sort of mind where I just need a little bit more. So yeah, that was what the inspiration for that was. Hello from Italy. I'm always watching your videos before I skate. Mini ramp gang. Yeah. Borchoy. Yeah, pool coping is really scary. Can't even do a rock to fakie when I first hit one. Sadly, all the skate parks are closed due to COVID in Hong Kong. Oh, sorry to hear that, dude. Hopefully that will come back on in the spring. Paul Smith, greetings, John, from an old fart in Cornwall. I was around in the 70s and really enjoyed skateboarding the first time round. Now enjoying the Surfskate. Brilliant, Phil. I was going to take a little trip down to Playing Place, which I think you'll be able to tell me was one of the first skate parks, I believe. Playing Place, it's like a really old school, no coping, like a concrete wave. And I think it looks like a smashing spot, but Phil will be able to tell me if he frequents such a place. I'd imagine it's good on a surf skate down there. I think it's probably a bit rough on the concrete because it is old. Okay, so I got a question from one of the Patreons, and that's right, you could become a Patreon of the channel, and gives you access to the Discord. And Joe has contacted me on the Discord with a question for tonight, and that is that he's noticed that I'm wearing less protective gear in some of the videos, and was there a reason for that? Was it a conscious decision, or are there any advantages? And I guess I can talk a little bit about pads. Obviously, it's personal preference. And one thing that is pretty much non-negotiable for me is the helmet. I made a little bit of a deal with the missus that I'd always wear a helmet. And it's fair cop, really, because I'm a family man with 2 nippers. And I don't think not wearing a helmet would be the best policy. Also, I'm still not that experienced at skating. And regardless of what's happening, even if I think I'm skating within my limits, there is always a chance of a freak come off the board. And the one that I fear the most is putting my foot back on the board once I've stepped off the board, because that can lead to a loop out and a bang of the head regardless. The reason for the reducing of the pads, especially on the mini ramps, and that's really where I'm starting to ride a little bit freer, is because I'm 3 years into it now, and I feel I've got a bit more experience at what to expect when it goes wrong. And when I skate without the pads, I tend to only do the tricks that I feel really quite confident at. Not so much confident I'm going to make, but definitely confident that I know what will happen and how to get out of it and run out of it and be safe in that respect. So I quite enjoy the feel and the freedom of no pads, and I definitely skate differently without the pads. It's definitely a different psychological feeling. And I tend to find that for me, necessity is the mother of invention. So I tend to make things work that wouldn't normally. Oh, I'll kick my camera here. Oh no. I tend to try and make things work that I wouldn't normally make work, just because, you know, falling without the pads would be a disaster. So it definitely works for me at this stage. I wouldn't have recommended it to me in the early stages because I was coming a cropper left, right and centre, and I didn't know how to fall was the main thing. So I was falling off in very awkward ways that pads really helped me with. Now I like to think I've got the hang of falling a bit more, and I can sort of, you know, flip round on my back and slide out and do all those things. But there's still going to be that freak accident, and still going to be that every time I come a cropper, I'm like, oh, I wish I was wearing my pads then. Being a guitar player for a living, I am very worried about my wrists. So I often wear wrist guards, and I look around the skate park, and if there's a very good skateboarder also wearing wrist guards, I think, oh, they're either an artist or a musician or something, because they're also concerned about missing a bit of, you know, giggage. Bagel days. I always make sure to wear a helmet too. Andy Anderson is another big helmet inspiration. Yeah, I mean, 2 of the guys that I like the most for skateboarding are Mike V and Andy Anderson, and both those guys are extremely experienced, prodigious talents on the skateboard, and they still wear a helmet, which says to me that I should wear a helmet. I think there is a bit of a stigma towards helmets and pads, but I think that might die away a little bit more. I mean, when I'm skating the vert ramp, there is no stigma around pads and helmets. I mean, the guys at the local ramp are incredible skateboarders. They do all of the tricks that you've seen in any video on a proper, and they all compete as well in the skateboard competitions. But the minimum anyone wears is knee pads and a helmet. Knee pads get you out of any trick that you're trying, and the helmet obviously saves you in that time when you come down and loop out. And the problem with the vert ramp that I've found for me is that when it goes wrong, it goes wrong quick, and yeah, and it can be a little bit nasty. So that frontside slash grind. And another thing with the vert ramp that I've found as well is that it's easy to get complacent and starting, you know, well, I'm sort of all right. I've had a couple of sessions here where I've just, you know, and then next session, and it'll remind you. But the velocity and just, I think the sheer sort of speed and height that everything's happening at, everything's bigger, so the impact it's noticeable. You're like, that is very different than falling off on the mini ramp. Oh god, I feel you stepping back on after bailing is scary. It's horrible. Yeah, I mean, that's one for the hamstring. It's definitely one for the, yeah, any sort of looping off very quickly. One of the nastiest slams I've ever had in terms of injury, I mean, really, really unpleasant, was I was learning to 50-50 a ledge. So a little ollie pop on top and then a little grind and then coming off. I mean, absolutely the most basic thing you can do in terms of street skating. And I got quite excited because I made like, you know, 4 or 5 in a row. I was like, oh yeah, brilliant, I got this. So I went back the next day with my mate Sam, and I did the worst thing I think you can do. It's like, Sam, watch this. First try in on warmed up, and I over ollied. So I landed with all 4 wheels on the ledge as opposed to the wheels locked against the ledge. And somebody had waxed the ledge up as well, I think. And as the 4 wheels hit the top, it just went so fast. And obviously I'm a little bit higher up than ground level because I'm on a ledge. And I fell so fast I couldn't even get my arm out to stop myself. So I fell like, whoa, full force on my shoulder. And that one was emotional. I mean, I was white as a sheet. And yeah, I usually skate on. I usually skate past any injury just to prove that it's, you know, I don't want to stigmatise it. And also I come from a sort of sports background where I was always told to run it off, boy. You know, I was playing rugby for the school, get a bit of a knock, run it off. You know, like, oh, okay. So I've sort of got that mentality of keeping going. But that one was one where I just got straight in the van and went home in tears. Oh my goodness. Yeah, my name is Kayla and I'm a young skater who wants to try vert. Wicked, man. That's X-Pirate-X. Do it, yeah. Rub some dirt on it. What, on the shoulder? Yeah, I reckon that'd, yeah, rub some dirt on anything. Yeah, just get back on. Well, I'm a bit worried that I've missed a few comments here, so I'm going to have a little track back. Just make sure I said hello to everybody. Ah, Hemi. Favourite skater at the minute? Ooh, that's a really good question. There's quite a few. I mean, I've got all the guys at the local park, which are my favourite real life skaters because they actually exist and you get to see it in real life. And I also get to badger them with questions about what they're doing. Why would you do that? What on earth is that? Guys that have tuned in recently will know Adam Williams. They're the video 60 expensive mini ramp tricks. And Adam frequents the mini ramp and the vert ramp. And poor old Adam has to endure me asking him questions about tricks that he does. Because I've got no idea what he's... What was that? What's just happened? Yeah, it's extraordinary to watch that. And then Adam, the other Adam, they both skate vert, and there's another few guys that skate extremely well. So those are real life guys. And then you've got, I really like the JD Sanchez and Andy Anderson, obviously. I really like Jason Park. If you want to check out his YouTube channel, that's extremely watchable. I think Jason's got the hang of YouTube, I think it's fair to say. He's a very entertaining guy, so anybody that watches Jason Park will know what I mean. And who else is there? There's a guy called Dan Corrigan. I quite enjoy his channel, but I think I enjoy his channel because he has Andy Anderson on it a lot. And there's also NKA videos, again, I think because Andy Anderson's on there. But I quite like the style of those videos, they're cool. Yeah. Tristan, hey man, I've seen almost all your videos. They get me stoked to skate. Your bravery on vert is contagious. Keep up the good work. Thank you, dude. That's brilliant. Keep sharing the stoke. I think I can do that. That's the nice one, dude. Nice. Thank you for tuning in. No, this is rather wonderful. Yeah, so I've still got my cup of tea, and I'm just trying to think of what the next video is going to be. It's been very tricky to film them because I like to keep the production values up, and filming indoors is notoriously tricky to do because the image blurs because there's just not enough light going into the camera. So I try and do them outside, and then when I do them outside, I try and do them when the sun is shining because it just looks so much better. And again, you get so much light going into the camera that nothing blurs, and you can do super close-ups, which I've got quite excited about doing. I usually get more excited about trying to up the production values than the actual video. I've got myself a little lavalier mic, which is one of these little chestnuts that they have on talk shows, and that goes on there. And I've been experimenting with that. I got it wrong for the first few videos and it distorted a bit, but now I think I've got the hang of it, and that improves the vocal quality a lot. So yeah, I try and go outside when it's sun shining. That's quite nice look, but it's very difficult at this time of year, as I've already alluded to, with a 50-year storm. So that then makes me go indoors, and then the ramp, the mini ramp indoors at Mount Hook is just a touch too big for me to learn really scary tricks on. So things like the pivot fakie, I would just annihilate myself because it's 5 foot and pretty steep, and the coping sticks out the correct amount. Whereas the other little ramp that I like to learn things on first up, not quite as intimidating, but there's just no way to skate it when it's wet. Great stuff. Oh, we've got some brilliant questions coming in here. Greg is, other than Newquay, what's your favourite skate park down your way? Yeah, it'd be Concrete Waves and St Ives. Those are the 2 spots. And then you've got Mount Hawk, which is the indoor skate park. Those 3, laughing. I mean, there are many others and many other really nice ones, but and the little mini ramp that I skate on with the skate light. But there's many others, but you just spoil. And I find it, I'm a bit of a creature of habit, and I find it hard to justify going further afield just for something different, because it's hard enough doing it on the same thing that you're confident on. Yeah. Favourite wheels for transition. I have got some of these. Oh, they're not up there. Oh. Yeah, I like the Spitfire 99A Durameter. They're called OG Classics. Spitfire OG Classics. Formula 4 urethane. They're very, very good. And I've got 58mm and 55mm. 55 for the mini ramp street setup, and 58 for the vert stroke bowl, like going a bit faster stuff. Christopher is saying stretching, question mark. Yeah. Did a video a little while back where the missus did a bit of yoga with me, and I do like the yoga. I'm lucky that the missus is a yoga instructor, and she shows me some moves. And I've also, the YouTube is awash with the yoga channels, so you can pick your flavour on there. And I usually try and do 10 or 15 minutes of yoga as part of my daily routine, and that's in the vain hope of trying to remain remotely flexible and stretchy. And I like to try and, get a bit warm. I do a few press-ups and a bit of stretching out the legs before I start the session, and then afterwards I've got my massage gun, and also I try and do a few stretches. I find I get very tight in the quads and get very tight in the calves, probably just for a lack of technique, or just because that's the muscles you use most when you're skating. But yeah, I've really struggled to keep those loose. They're constantly fatigued because I like to skate as much as I can for as long as I can. I'm ready for you to land that backside air over the coping on the vert. I tell you what, in my dream, the night before, I'm always ready. Starclap 92, I'm always ready to go. And then the moment I walk through the door of that skate park and see the ramp, I'm like, oh, I really want it, but then there's something inside me that doesn't want it enough quite yet. Adrian, congrats on the 1 million views. Greetings from Texas. Oh man, you've got some skate parks in Texas. Love watching your progress. I'm lucky to have access to great skate parks and even a weekly vert session. Loving it all. Yeah, brilliant. There's isn't the vert ramp the banger in the hangar? That's a Texas vert ramp, I believe. I was watching that on the YouTube banger in the hangar, massive vert ramp inside a hangar. And then there's one skate park that I've always wanted to go to, which has got like 20 bowls and a big star in the middle. When you look from a drone, you'll be able to tell me which one that is. Wicked. Tom Malone. Hi John, ever thought about trying an Everslick? By the looks of them boards behind you, you might want to check out the Santa Cruz Eric Dresin. It's worth a look. Yeah, for sure, dude. My friend Pi Kasari, who features in a couple of the videos a while back, likes an Everslick deck. He's a Santa Cruz riding dude, and I was interested by him because the concept is you can slide them without the rails. They've got the same property, sort of like a snowboard style coating. So they're quite interesting. Yeah, definitely. I do like a little bit of a board slide every now and then, so that might be quite interesting to try out. I think I can do that. What part of the country are you from? Well, I was born in Oxfordshire, which is right in the centre of the UK. And then when I was 16 or 17, I travelled overseas for most of my 20s. So in that respect, I'm not really from anywhere apart from the farmer Oxfordshire accent, which you can hear come out every now and then. And yeah, I lived in Poole in the south coast of England for a while, and now I've moved down to the very southwest of Cornwall, which again have got a similar farmer accent, and I think the Bournemouth Poole gang had a sort. So I think the farmer accent disguises the exact location, but it's all a little bit ooh-ah. I think we do that spring. Banger in the Hammer, baby, so gnarly. Oh yeah, Bob Weaver, brilliant. Alex Hill. Oh, hi Alex, love your content, tips so helpful, nice one. Oh, hello from Melbourne, Australia. That must get the Medal of Honor. It must be pretty early or pretty late on the other side of the globe, I'd imagine. Alex, I don't have time to stick around, getting ready for work in a minute. All right, dude, have a great time at work. I hope you get some skating in today, so keep going, keep going. I'm always worried that I'm missing a comment or two. DDGMAT. Spiky massage ball is great for the calf release. Yeah, those ones you sort of lie on, a roller style affair. Yeah, that's a good idea, dude. Oh yeah, the Houston vert ramp, 13-foot vert ramp. I only had one visit there and got my goal of dropping in and kick turns. Wowee, emotional indeed. Yeah, oh my goodness. I think I can do that. Spring Skate Park also has a bowl shaped like Texas with a full pipe in the middle. Oh my goodness. That's a nice little feature, having it actually the same shape as the state. Adrian, hey Louis. I think I can do that. I'm from East Texas, but I cover the accent fairly well. Yeah, I made an absolutely schoolboy error. One of my friends moved to Texas. and he said, oh yeah, come over and visit anytime you want. And I was like, oh brilliant, yeah, there's a skate park in Texas I'd love to come and visit. And I didn't realise that Texas is about the same size as Europe. So I was like, oh, if I can go and visit him, I can just go and ride the skate park. And the skate park's like the same distance as my house to like Germany or something. Yeah, what an idiot. Good stuff. Right, a little bit more tea, I think. The sunset surfing is on tonight. And I think Kelly Slater is riding in the sunset surfing competition, which is on the YouTube. So I'll be watching that as soon as we finish up here. And respect to anybody that's on here listening to my waffle when you could be watching the sunset surfing competition, because that is quite exciting. And it's incredible. Kelly Slater won that pipeline competition at nearly 50 years old, after 30 years since he first won it. And I've found that so inspiring as a 47-year-old bloke wrestling with this type of activity. Surfing and skateboarding are my two passions. Trying to keep things on the rails is like, wow, if you can win the heaviest wave competition in the world when you're older than I am. Obviously, he's a complete freak, and but I mean, it means that it's got to be in the head. You know, it's physically possible. So I found that very liberating. Will Foster, rock to Vakey on vert. Yeah, I've offered it up, and it's pretty scary. I was doing little air fakies with a grab, and came an absolute cropper because I got a little bit squirrely on the flat. I landed it and then got out. But the problem with landing something and then getting squirreled on the flat on a vert ramp is you tend to pile into the wall, shoulder and head first, which is, yeah, absolutely zero fun. And I'm now thinking, oh my God, if I go up and do a rock fakie and get a bit squirreled out on the flat, I'm going to pile drive the other side again. So that's all in my head. I've got to overcome that. But I think I think trying to learn that on a 13.5 foot vert ramp would be not the easiest way to do it. I'd like to learn it on, you know, the biggest ramp I've ever rocked a fake is an 8 foot ramp, but that had no vert on it. So I'd like to do it on a little 9 or 10 foot vert, I think, just to start with. Wheel recommendations for concrete bowls, please, John. Yeah, again, I just ride the 99 Durometer Spitfire OG Classic Formula 4s. I just love the feel of them. There's a little tip I nicked off my mate Richie Inskip, Geordie. I rode his setup in one of the videos, the motivation video where we all get together, all the chums. And that was a bit of a turning point. I was like, wow, these wheels are incredible. And I guess you don't get to know unless you try someone else's. I tried Geordie's setup and thought, oh, I really like it. So I nicked off of his setup the Santa Cruz rails and the Spitfire wheels idea, which is what he uses. Good stuff. What I usually do with these videos is I edit it and then put loads of little extra clippings in just to make a bit more of a video of it. Otherwise it really is some bloke waffling to the camera. So that's a vein, and I also try and edit out all of the waffle. So an hour's live stream usually ends up being 25 minutes, which is a bit more palatable, because I do feel guilty about someone having to sit through an hour of this. I do think they deserve a little bit more, so I try in vain to tart it up a little bit when I put it up there. I think I did it. Our vet ramp here in Austin, Texas is 10 foot tall and 28 foot wide. Oh, I'd love to come to that. Sounds perfect, dude. Yeah. Whew. I do find the bigger transitions. Oh, excuse my nose. I do find the bigger transitions are nice to work with in terms of knee sliding and also gathering you up. I find that even though it might seem like a good idea, there is a point where those vert ramps don't work anymore. You know, they've definitely hit the sweet spot with the size through trying them out, because I'm obviously got no experience, but I understand the vert ramps in the 80s were a lot smaller than the X Games ones, and I think the X Games ones came about just purely due to the amount of time they were trying to get to do the various spinning tricks. So they just kept on getting bigger because they needed more speed, which gave you more time in the air and also more transition to slide out on. So I think there was the skate park that I used to live at had a really whippy 9 foot vert ramp, and I would wager that was knocking on the door of being a touch too small, because there was no way you could knee slide, but it was too big and fast to run out of, so the whole thing was terrifying. Yeah, so sometimes it's that game of opposites, isn't it? The skateboarding game of opposites. You think it might be a bit safer to have it smaller, but there is a limit where all of a sudden it becomes dangerous again. Well, this tea is going down rather nicely, and I'm quite pleased that the 50-year storm does seem to be kept at bay by the back garden shed. I'm also pretty pleased that the back garden shed hasn't managed to spring a leak yet. I don't want to tempt fate, but I did build it, so there is every chance that it will spring a leak. Oh my goodness. Well, it's been enormous fun. Again, thank you so much for all of your support. and I'm truly humbled to have 1 million views. I think the biggest single video is the Surfskate video I did and it is the most viewed by quite a long way. I don't know what happened there, but there's 100,000 views on that now, which is 1/10 of all of my views. And I don't know why that video is so popular. It might just be that it had a picture that resonates with a larger audience. But I'm still completely unaware as to what makes a popular video. I'm not really too fussed, as long as I sort of do feel that every time I release a video, it's the best one I try and make it the best one I've done, and it's also the most relevant one to what I'm feeling at that time. That's sort of my barometer for making them. But yeah, I would be lying if I had any idea of what. And I put out a shout actually, and we did a competition at Christmas to try and find out what you guys might want to watch. And thank you very much for all of your feedback there. I am implementing that, and it does seem to be true. You know, the videos do seem to be more watched with regards to the feedback that you guys sent in about what you wanted to see. But I am fairly selfish as well, so I'm sort of like, I do tend to go where my energy is, and I know that the vert ramp videos are probably not as resonant with people because not everyone has a vert ramp, and also not everyone has a desire to ride a vert ramp, so that's sort of a bit more personal, I guess. And yeah, most of the contest ramps we've skated in the latter part of the 80s were 11 foot tall. Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, the one that I really like riding is Greg Nowick's vert ramp at the Boom Skate School, and that one's 12 foot. And that seems to be, it's just the perfect ramp. That's the one that I learned to drop in on. I learned all of the tricks that I know on vert. Greg taught me on that ramp, and I really felt like I, made friends with that ramp. So that seems to be a good one, a sweet spot for me. I'm 30 and you've helped me start back after a 10-year break from skating. Got a mini up in the backyard, and oh, nice one, dude. That's great. I love a bit of a backyard mini ramp. I'm hoping to put one in I think I might put one in the garage this time, just to overcome the noise and wet issues. And just the thought of being able to skate it regardless of anything, is pretty exciting. So I'm thinking of doing that. I only moved into the house sort of 3 or 4 months ago, so still arranging various bits and bobs. So the mini ramp is a project for the spring, but stay tuned for that one. I've got a how to build a ramp series we're working on, and I'll be sure to give you a shout. Oh, nice one, dude. I skated a ramp in a church in Scotland back in 1990. Wicked. Yeah, there's a ramp in a church at Caterham, which is called Skaterham, and I see some great videos of that one. And I don't think that one is awfully big, that one at Skaterham, but there's constant ripping going on in that, and it looks amazing because if you do a sneaky air, you can do it above a stained glass window in the background. I mean, that's a picture, isn't it? Oh goodness. Herbie, where is the indoor park with the vert you went to in some of your vids? That is my local skate park. I'm most lucky. That is Mount Hawke Skate Park, Mount Hawke in Cornwall, just outside Truro. And I live 5 minutes from there, and the nippers go to Mount Hawke School, which is just across the road from Mount Hawke Skate Park. So we are very lucky. In my opinion, it's one of the finest, most well-equipped skate parks available. Yeah, Jack, pretty sure it's Mount Hawke Skate Park. There you go, dude. Yeah, exactly right. In Cornwall. Oh, yeah. Wicked. August, check out Skate in St. Louis, Missouri. Oh, I love checking those sort of things out. A big church park. Woohoo! Trevor, I'm in Seattle, USA, and we need indoor most of the year. Oh my goodness, yeah, I'm led to believe that probably rains sideways as much as Cornwall. But there's amazing video with Andy McDonald where he explains what they used to do. They used to like thaw the ramp out, and it was like snow, and they still used to skate. I'm like, oh my goodness, there's varying degrees of hardship, and that is outdoor ramp in the winter in a snowy part of the USA or Canada. I can't remember where Andy McDonald's from, but yeah, those guys wouldn't take no for an answer. They were thawing things out, and they had some they had some system with shoes as well, because if the board shot off the ramp, they couldn't get snow and ice on their shoes to then skate the grip tape, so they had to come up with a system of like getting the boards back. It's a really good interview. I think it might be on 9 Club or something like that, which is another skate channel I really enjoy. I think I'm going down. I think my chair is going down. I've perched on a chair just because I hurt my leg. I thought it might be a good idea rather than standing up for but it's like some sort of comedy sketch, some sort of old 70s British comedy sketch where the bloke just keeps going down till eventually it's just a set of eyes. Oh my goodness. Whenever I make a video, there's always something you haven't thought about that's going to catch you out. Yeah, probably why skate light was invented out here. Yeah, I guess those ramps just disintegrated. And they're made out of plywood. Daniel, I have a backyard half pipe and always watched your 60 tricks videos to get ideas. But I just tore my ACL and I'm scheduled for surgery. So I'll be on the sidelines for a good 6 months. Oh, dude, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, it'll feel all the more sweeter when you get back on that board. I've learned a lot from you. Seriously, I really appreciate your videos. You're very humble and honest with your progression and skill level. Thank you, dude. That is very kind. Yeah, it's a brilliant community we've got, and I'm glad we're all here. You know, everybody's been so kind. I constantly get feedback about you should try this, you should try that, and I'm only too happy for people to say, yeah, you know, just put more pressure on your toes or whatever. And it's just a really nice community. You know, it's comes back and really helps me. And everyone I've met's been amazing. I met Joe down at Mount Hawk the other day and we had a great skate together. And yeah, it's just skateboarding is the only regret I have in life, I think, is that I only came to skateboarding when I was like 45. I wish I'd come to it a little bit earlier. But I always ruled it out because being a guitar player, I thought, well, no, that's not going to work if I break my wrists or whatever. But yeah, it turns out that with a bit of precautions, don't want to jinx it, but it's manageable. I've been okay. I've had a lot of injuries, I have to say, but none to me, because I wear the biggest wrist pads known to man, I think. Bob Weaver. Oh, nice one. Thank you, dude. Have you ever tried skateboard slalom? I reckon I could definitely come a cropper trying skateboard slalom. If I'm thinking the right thing, which is going around cones at a breakneck speed, Tony Alva style, I reckon the only thing I can manage about skateboard slalom is the outfit. I would have no problems putting on an Evel Knievel outfit. But then I think that would be the only similarity I'd have with a slalom skateboarder. I think a cool video would be a day in the life of John Bridger. I recently did one, Trevor. It wasn't so much a day in the life of me. It was more like wrapped up in the struggles of skating outside in January. But that was like, I was going to go into the nitty gritty of the school run and all of that sort of stuff. But I'm always worried. It's of absolutely no interest. This seat, I can feel this seat going down now. This is brilliant. I'm going to ratchet it up again. I can actually feel it slipping. There we go. Oh, back up again now. What's up, my dude? Feeling better? What's your favourite size for your skateboard? Yeah, dude. My favourite size, I guess the Andy Anderson is 9-inch. And I've tried 9-inch popsicle decks as well. My freestyle deck is 8-inch, which is still big for a freestyle deck, but I'm 6'3" and I'm pretty clumsy and a bit of a beginner, so I think a bigger deck seems to work quite well. I've carried that over from other sports. When I started to learn to surf years ago, I sort of swallowed my ego because everybody was running around with a little Kelly Slater Almeric sticks and not really getting too many waves, and I thought, well, if I'm going to get any good at surfing, I just need to get a lot of waves. So I bought a big corky mini Mao, and I looked like a kook, but I certainly got a lot of waves. And I thought when I started skateboarding, you know, don't go for the crazy toothpick that everyone thinks you're a cool street skater. Just get the big platform. and clomp around on there for a while until you can do it a bit. But they seem to suit me. I've got size UK 10, so USA 11 feet. And I guess that's what needs to fit on a deck, I would imagine. But the Andy Anderson is 9-inch, and it does, when I skate something else, it does end up feeling, I mean, it is a big board. But then again, my Kendall Snake that I really like, that's nearly 10 inches. I mean, but the thing about those old school boards is they're only 10 inches in one very small part, and the rest of it's shaped. And if you actually measure the meaningful bits, like I think part of the Kendall is like 8 inches. The bit that goes into the tail is 8 inches, and the nose obviously tapers pretty quick. So yeah, they're you're sort of splitting hairs. If it was 10 inches all round, oh my gosh, that would feel like a big board. But yeah, I guess it depends if it's shaped or not. I'm going down again. This is brilliant, this seat. Just picked up a 6.25 orange Gretchen. You'd be slaloming them in no time. Yeah, that's it. I've got this. This is, I guess this is pretty slalomy. This is my 70s deck, the Pro-Am Pure Gold. And I was thinking of taking this one to the Play in Place original 70s skate park, Pro-Am Pure Gold. And it's got the little, I mean, these are 70s style trucks in so much as they look a little bit more like a roller skate truck than a real truck. But they are actually ripped off of a penny skateboard. They're very good. They're very good trucks and very good wheels, actually. But they're very similar to the sort of thing. I actually borrowed an original set of lasers with an original set of 70s wheels, and I realised that they're pretty much the same as these. So I thought, well, I'm not going to waste loads of money on some vintage kit when I could get these for not too much. And yeah, this is a lot of fun. But I mean, it feels remarkably different because there's no concave. I mean, look at that tail kick. there is zero pocket there. There's no nose on it. And yeah, when my foot is on that tail, you can be under no illusion that there is not a lot of tail. Oh. Pop that one back up there. Oh, hello. Yeah. But the Grentech was like that, but orange plastic. Yeah, same with 91 Anderson deck, Park, Ripper, Peralta, 56 and 159 trucks. Yeah, man, that's the setup. I got 159 trucks. I think they're probably the same. They're the hollow forged trucks. Oh, great stuff. That, believe it or not, is an hour before we know it. So thank you very much for tuning in, and thank you very much for all your support. And yeah, the videos coming up are going to be Pivot Fakie, which will be a good one to view in, you know, to look in on if you like watching me fall off, because I reckon I'm going to eat it hard on the Pivot Fakie. There's also going to be the backside air over the coping. Now, I'm trying to do this one as a long-winded documentation, and it just brings a whole new level of difficulty to making a video, because I have to keep the footage from each session, and I've resigned myself to it being a long process. It's not going to be 1, 2 or 3 sessions. It's going to be like, you know, months of sessions. It's just so hard for me to do. And then also once I've done the Pivot Fake, it will be the blunt fakie, which I'm making a real meal of. And I also really want to try a couple of sweeper variations that I've seen. One is like the impossible sweeper that Andy Anderson does, where you come out and the board spins around your leg and you go back in. Anything sweepery I'm into. I also want to do this video about making videos, which I think could be pretty fun. But yeah. Oh, Richie Hopkins, missing you in Bournemouth, dude. You're getting to check out that super new indoor concrete park in Kent. Yeah, anybody wants to check out the concrete park in Kent, Mavericks have made one, and it's a bespoke one made in a multi-story. It's not a multi-story car park. It literally is a multi-story skate park, but made in a similar way to one might make a multi-story car park. So the concrete is all set in, but when you're below the bowl in the level below, it just looks like the relief of a bowl. It's just dangling like the bottom of a bowl in a bowl shape. It's incredible, and that's down there in Kent. So I can't wait to go down there and skate that. And the pool that they've made there looks gnarly, like proper steep transitions. But I think just due to COVID and everything, it's taken a little longer than they thought. But I think it's almost there in terms of being able to go and have a look. Have a good night. Cheers, dude. Right, wicked. Thank you very much, everybody. And I'll see you next time. Oh, not half. Right, let's see if we can make this stop. This is a bit that I always struggle with. Make it stop. Where is it? Ooh. No.